and I wanted to talk to you about the views that you described in your video. I wanted to dive into that a little more because there are a lot of young creators, not even just creators, everyone now, in a way, especially Generation Z, it would be hard for them to not tie self-worth to likes, to views.
I got something for them.
Yeah, help them, Charlie Rocket.
Okay, guys. I might be the least most popular person y'all have ever interviewed.
I wouldn't say that.
And with me and my 150,000 followers and 623 YouTube views, I, as the underdog, as the person maybe most relatable to the people watching, who's not some big celebrity, have the most impactful episode on Impaulsive. Yeah. And I think this is going to be my 4th episode I'm kind of a part of, because there was the 100th episode, and then there was my episode, then there was Harry Jowsey episode, and then there's mine. So for everybody watching, if your views are small, you can still outperform the people who are doing amazing. And every single person who is doing amazing in life was small at one time. So appreciate that small, because I'll go stand on top of my tour bus and I'm touring all across America, and there's 30 people in the crowd. And I'm busting my butt on this tour, the Dream Machine Tour, and 30 people, and I'm preaching on top of my bus about dreams. And I'm like, I love those 30 people, because that's my Travis Scott moment. Because one day there's going to be 30,000 people, and I'm going to miss these days where I can talk to every single person. And this is what makes me more authentic, because there's 30 people, because no big celebrity's ever going to go stand on top of a bus for 30 people. So this is an opportunity for me to be more authentic than everybody in the world. So it's a gift, the small amount of views. It's a gift being small, and it's good to know that you can outperform the big guys. Even if you're small, it is possible.
And that's when you're making actual convertible influence, is at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many big creators out there who get 20, 30 million views, and people are watching because 19,999,000 other people watched it. That's the reason they're watching it. Yo, everybody else is watching this. They're not selling anything. They're not making they're not changing anybody's minds about anything. They're not encouraging anybody. There's so many people that operate at a small level that have such a strong grip on their audience that they are quite literally changing their lives. You may have changed more lives with your 622 person YouTube video than one of the biggest creators in the world changed on a multi-million viewed episode. You know what I'm saying? And so it's such an important thing for young creators to understand that viewership does not correlate completely with actual influence. It just doesn't.
Impact.
I learned something powerful from a guy named Charlie Rocket on YouTube. He was talking about how if you were trying to boil a lake right away, you'd have a real hard time doing that. But sometimes you got to start smaller and boil in little pots of water so it gets hot.
Thank you, bro. So with managing celebrities my whole life, I got really good at creating fan bases. And if I went out to try to boil a lake, I just don't know how to make a flame that big. It's really hard. Maybe Elon Musk can figure it out. I don't know how to boil a lake, but I can boil a pot of water. And our goal as business people and as entrepreneurs, and anybody who's starting a YouTube channel is an entrepreneur at the end of the day, your goal is to get hot. And I can get a pot of water hot. And the good thing about that is when a pot of water is hot, you can add more water to it, and it can boil really fast. And once that bigger pot of water is boiling, you could add more water to it, and that will boil really fast. And I would do that with a side of town in Atlanta for 2 Chainz. I would start on the south side at this one club. It would be one club, and I would focus on it. I'm going to boil this club. And it would be usually the strip clubs. Did we talk about this on the first episode? Yeah. So we would boil that, and then we would, next thing you know, we would influence the entire country because we boiled a pot of water. So I celebrate the 30 people. I know how powerful 30 people really is. And that's why I push through it, where everybody else can't fight through that fire and they quit. But that's what makes, you different than everybody else. You kept going.
I kept going because I just loved what I was doing. Like I really didn't care about the views. He knows we've made videos for 8 years, dude. The max for ourselves. The max was 4,000 views. Wow. The max. There was one early that went like semi-viral.
Your songs.
Yeah, that got like 50 to 100K, and at the time,
good.
obviously it was massive. It's just so hard. It's just so hard to not be so connected to the numbers. You know what I'm saying? And
well, it's interesting because you see growth and you're like, wow, I want more numbers.
That's
more
why.
numbers
It's
means
a
more,
it's a
more
drug.
influence. Yeah,
it's a drug. And
Absolutely.
it's a shame. It's a shame that it's a blessing and also a shame that we live in a world where I just think it's going to affect so many young people in a way that everyone in this room will never be able to understand because we didn't grow up being the kid who had the least amount of likes in high school.
And feels invisible. And that can be a very lonely place when you see the opportunity to be connected to the whole world. And when nobody sees you, you feel invisible. And that's tough. But you know what? It's why we need this mentality we have more than ever. Because we're going to make a choice of how we're going to look at that 623. We're going to make a choice. And that's why I'm going to get winning streak tatted on me. And that's why we're taking this movement to the world so that everybody can think about it. Okay, how would Charlie Rocket think in this moment? Okay, that's going to save their life.